Alright, tubes. We're down here at the Black River Railroad station here. Black River and Western Railroad. And I'm going to meet up with my buddy Rob. He's going to give me an inside look because he works here as a volunteer. There he is now.
Good morning.
What you say, buddy? That's our buddy Rob. Alright, Rob, what are we going to do? We're going to get the inside look?
You get a little bit of the inside look. Unfortunately, it's parked not in a good spot for you to actually get a lot of filming. I was expecting to be down here on the Beeline track, but there's a lot of stuff around here, so we got to do this very safely because there's about 101,000 ways to get hurt around here. So we'll have to get you in a spot where you can do a little video.
Okay. Alright, what are these here? These trains, that's a diesel right there?
Yeah, that's an EMD. That's originally Lehigh Valley 112, but right now it's disguised as Black River 400 to go back to Lehigh Valley 112. That's privately owned.
And what about this caboose?
The caboose, that's also owned by one of the members here is quite the collector. He has almost the whole train set, 2 locomotives and several cars. I think he lacks the refrigerated car and the covered hopper car to have his set. But the caboose is his, and the hopper car in front of it, that's a recent acquisition. That's a Pennsylvania Railroad, something that came in on a flat car a couple weeks ago, or up by our flatbed truck, and they just kind of unloaded it on the rails. So he's working on his set.
All right, let's go up and get a better look. What we got here, Rob?
This is the coal storage pile. That was fairly full about a month ago, and this thing goes through quite a bit. It's got a very hungry firebox. So we get the large lump included because it's much cheaper to buy it unsorted, and it's very cheap to have volunteer help break it up.
Wow. Yeah, I've never seen coal that big.
It's about half price.
Look at that piece here. It's about 2 foot by 2 foot.
Yeah, so it just comes unsorted, but you know, hey, when you're saving half the money because it's quite expensive to buy this stuff.
And this is all run by volunteers, right? No
volunteers.
No federal funding or nothing.
No.
What is this car here?
They call it combine. It's the back end is like a mail car, like a mail sorting thing, and then the front part is passenger seating. And right now it's here for some repair and a paint job. But
so it's in the middle of a restoration.
yeah, in the middle of restoration. That was on the train last year.
Okay, let's continue on.
Okay, we got a flat car full of ties. There's a major reclamation project going on south, which is, as we're walking south, there's 6 miles of track down there that haven't been used since 1998. Which
I've seen in your brochure here that let me see the brochure. They're showing guys putting railroad tracks in and stuff.
Yeah, that's working on that down there.
Yeah. There you go.
Been a major job. There's like 6 bridges to be fixed, and there's I think it's LambertvilleRailroad.com is the site for that, and there's a little fundraiser thing on there. So please donate. We always use it because every dollar goes to some piece of tie or material to repair the track, so we can go back to Lambertville.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if just one of these ties cost $100. You know, I mean, it's got creosote.
I bet they're 60 to 80 though.
There you go. You know, they're not cheap.
Yeah, it don't take long to spend a lot of money real quick.
Yeah, it's all volunteer. All right, we'll give you a plug at the end of.
Yeah, we get some websites that you guys can do stuff.
Is that a real Wabash train?
Well, it is.
It's still in place from last year.
It is. A couple of these cabooses are privately owned. Some people like to restore them. Well, they just attach them to the train once in a while, and
that's another diesel up there, that black one.
Yeah, that's actually belongs to the Black River Railroad. There's a couple different things here. The Black River and Western actually owns the track, and they do commercial freight out of here, and that's one of theirs. Some of the cars and things here. So this is actually a real working short line railroad, besides being a tourist attraction.
Okay. We got to mention that. This is the train that we're looking at here, right? This steam thing?
This is built by ALCO, which is American Locomotive Works, connected in New York, 1937. It's a 280. It's kind of a slightly smaller than medium-sized locomotive, good for 30 to 40 loaded freight cars. And this was purchased new by the Great Western Railroad in Colorado, and they had several Baldwins in this one, ALCO, and they used to haul sugar beets to the processor. That was its function.
And you had to have somebody here last night starting this up, right?
Well, that was Friday night. Friday night they came and put a fire in it to get things broke up. It ran yesterday, so you know, it had a full service day. And when they were done, they banked the fire and topped some things off, and left it here, tied down for us to start in the morning.
Okay. All right, let's go.
Jason goes to me, he says, that tree doesn't look so good, right? I go, oh, I grow. Oh. I can tell about the trees. Is that by Copper Hill?
Yeah, you can see the tracks here. Some of they're gonna have to replace a lot of ties.
Alright, where's a good safe spot? Well, what does he want to see, the motion?
All right, Rob is down there. He's doing a little work, so they gave me permission to walk around here, take a look at some of this stuff. I don't really know what I'm looking at, so I can't really tell you much. But this really caught my eye, right? They write songs about this train here. The Wabash. The old Wabash Cannonball. That's pretty cool. And then old caboose. I forgot what year they stopped having to use cabooses, and then everybody started making little houses out of them and stuff. Somebody correct me, but I think it was in the 80s. Maybe 89 or something. And then let's go take a look at this one up here. It's a diesel. Pretty cool yard they got here. Down there they got more trains. Yeah, I might make this into a couple part series because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of video going on. There's more railroad ties. Here we go. They're going to take that train and dump some ash later on, so maybe we'll catch them doing that. That's something you guys will never see. Here's a crane car. Sometimes it's going to be tough to see some of this because I can't really stand back and get a look at it because there just isn't any room here. But here's a crane. Don't know what they use that for. And here's some more train. Try and walk up there and see what's going on. Alright, I'm on a platform here now. I'm just checking out these old trains because they're trains from everywhere here. I just private collectors and stuff. Some cool old signs, but there's some more back there. 2 or 3 of them. But that one's from the New York Central. This one's from the Jersey Central. And that one's from Belvedere and Delaware River. This looks like the old train station here. Let's see what it says. Ringo's. That's pretty cool. I guess this is where we're going to get our tickets later. I don't know. I'm not sure. Like I say, I'm just freewheeling it here right now. Wow. There's some more down there. That one's from Arizona. Arizona Eastern Railway. Pretty cool. And it looks like they have a little display of lights up here. Maybe I'll take a walk over there and look at them. Okay, here's the train station at Ringo's. I guess that's where you get the tickets later on. Ringo's, 250-foot elevation. I didn't know where that far. It's high in the mountains here. 250 foot. I don't know how old this is. I don't have Rob here to help me. And I don't know if he would even know. Pretty cool though. And you see this pole here? That's cool. Up there, that signals them for something. Well, one time it did. Alright, I don't know how much you guys can see, but I'll scroll down slowly in case somebody wants to read it. Like I said, I know there's a lot of train guys out there. But it's just explaining it. This is sort of like a little display of all the traffic lights and track switches and stuff like that they used to have. Looks like a piece of granite or something there that's been chopped out. You see the way they drill the holes? That's how they split stuff. It might be a mile marker or something with a 2 on it. And 25, like I say. Don't know what any of this stuff is, so anybody knows, comment. I know that's a flagpole. And here's a W. I see that a lot, don't know what it means. There's another switching mechanism. Lights. There's a W again. Somebody will tell me what it is. More lights. And look out for the locomotive. Okay. Now here you go. Here's a sign that might explain a little bit to you guys. I got glare on the screen here, so I don't know how much you're going to be able to read, but a little bit of information. There's the back of some of them. Check out the dent on the front of that. How do you explain that to the boss? I think these here are all private collection. Looks like you're gonna start to do something. I see some black smoke coming out the thing, coming out the stack. There's Rob up there in a cab. Alright, Rob's doing up something. I see a wrench in his hand. A big wrench. What's going on up there, buddy? What are you doing?
Alright, well, we got to turn the boiler checks on. Every night shut off so you don't have any major leaks. So there's a check valve just past the boiler, boiler check. So we don't get any nasty steam leaks. So these got to be turned on every morning. So it's always a good idea to find out if you can actually put water in the boiler before you get it too hot. So that's what we're doing now. We're going to turn this one on this side, there's one on the other side, because there's 2 injectors. Every locomotive has 2 means of putting water in, either 2 injectors or a feed pump and an injector.
What's happening now, Rob? How come all of a sudden it started shooting black smoke?
They open up the blower in the cab. There's an artificial draft mechanism. So in order to push the fire out so you don't smoke yourself out, you turn a little draft on, and that sucks the smoke out of the firebox so you can see what you're doing.
Okay. Rob just released a valve up there. I don't know what that was. What was that, Rob?
That was set in the injector.
Okay.
So you got to do a couple of things, and some waste comes out, and you can set the injector and then close it off. So that's what all that noise and mess was.
Okay.
I'm going to do the one on the other side.
I'm going to go over there. Alright, I'm shooting into the sun now, so I don't know how well things are going to look. But Rob's going to release this valve over here. I see him doing something up there in a cab. I don't even know if they call it a cab.
Opening the waste into this side. You got the check opener?
Here we go. He just let out a warning. More water and steam. The engineer, is that what they call you, engineer?
Yes.
Okay. quiet things down a little bit. Yeah, look at it billowing now. Here's something cool. Probably from restoration. I don't know which train, but these are the seats. And look at the construction of them seats. Right? So probably hardwood, probably oak or something like that. All bent into place and everything with the straps and the springs. Look at the springs on them. And the upholstery isn't bad on them. I would imagine you're probably going to redo them. They're just sitting there. I don't think the weather's going to harm them. But that's pretty interesting. The construction of that back then. Alright. Alright, I'm back here with the inner storage yard. This is pretty cool stuff, right? Look at this. I don't know what that thing does, but it means something to somebody. And then another one of these control boxes. That's cool. Even the light. They got a fluorescent light in there, but that light's pretty cool. That's period. Look at all these control boxes. They got a bunch of them set up. Almost like tombstones. What you doing now, buddy?
Put some oil in the mechanical lubricator. It's got two ways of oil in the running gear and the air compressor. One's a hydrostatic, it's in the cab. Take steam oil, and then put steam oil in the mechanical lubricator. Basically has some linkage that operates off the valve gear. It's like a pump oiler, like on machinery and stuff. It's adapted. It's not original, but it certainly helps out having a couple of ways of getting things lubricated. You always have a backup in case one goops up.
Yeah, let me get back here. Mechanical lubricator.
A lot of these are using some of the bigger hit and miss engines and industrial engines. So
Yeah, I think I've seen that before.
yeah, my moguls have a smaller one on top.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts on these things, man. Everything's got to be lubricated. How often you got to lubricate everything? Every day?
Well, what we do is in the morning, all the rods get greased, and everything's once around journal oil on what needs journal oil. And then when we go to Flemington, which is 5 miles that way, and they turn around to come back this way, it gets oiled again. So it always gets oiled in Flemington. So about every 10 miles, which is probably a lot more than it would have when it was back in the day. But oil's cheap, parts are expensive.
Yeah, especially if you got to make them.
Well, I get to do that.
Yeah, that's right. Rob's the machinist for this thing here, so anything breaks, he's got to make it. That's something.
The Alco parts hotline's been shut off for a good many years now. They don't answer the phone.
So they lubricate everything every 5 to 10 miles. That's crazy. Here we go, got another guy greasing the wheels.
That's Paul.
There you go. You're on YouTube, Paul. There you go.
I should have dressed better.
You're not wanted or anything, are you?
In this state?
No, maybe. No, I shouldn't say that.
All right. They're just draining the compressors now. Pretty cool. A lot of oil and grease and steam and water. A mess just to keep this thing running. Alright, I think we're going to have a blowout here.
Testing the safety here. Have to test it at least once a day. This one is it's about ready to go, and it'll eventually kick itself off. It kicks off at 196.
Huh.
not going to happen because it ain't working.
96, 187.
Wow. What was that, Rob? That was a safety valve?
That's a safety valve. That's just in case you get a little too much pressure on it. It drops it about 10 pounds,
Wow.
and you can start over again. So it may do that on the trip a couple of times if you get a little too much coal in it. Get a little too hot. Normally it would trip off faster than that. You got to test it once a day, so you have to make it pop so you know it's functioning.
Right.
So sometimes it's nicer to do it here when the general public isn't around to freak
Oh,
them
yeah.
out.
Yeah, that was deafening. All right. All right, we're now getting into the cab here. What do you call it? It's a cab?
That's the cab, yeah. Engineer sits over there, fireman sits over here if he actually gets to sit down.
Okay.
The big gauge in the front's the main steam gauge,
All right.
right there. We'll have our hand model pose everything here.
Water glass.
Water glasses.
Engineer, water glass fireman.
That tells us how high the water is in the boiler. You got to always keep a good amount of water in there, otherwise it's not a good thing.
Okay.
Also, we got a backup system of tricox.
Yeah, so we
Look
have.
for steam or water in there.
Okay.
If you're not sure your glass is proper, you can go, this is your final insurance policy right here.
Huh.
Over in the side, you can't see it, but there's a valve here for the blower that drafts the fire.
Use a little bit of steam. There's a ring under the
Got an air
smokestack.
operator here on the floor pedal.
Okay.
So you can, in a rhythm, fire and leave the box doors open very short period of time. You can get a shovel in and close it. Keep the heat in. Don't let a lot of cold air back in.
Okay. Pretty cool.
And the two red rods sticking up, those control the valves for injectors. The tall one is to control the amount of water going in, and the shorter one is the waste. You'd open the waste, pull the injector. He's going to put some water in now.
Okay.
Open the waste. And there's a handle on the other side you probably can't see. He's going to pull that out. Now you can hear water going into the boiler. And you would close the waste valve off. And then you would shut the handle off to eject water. And you follow along on the sight glass and see how much you put in.
What are the two handles there? Is that forward and reverse?
No, those are the brake stand. The top one,
okay.
top one's the independent, right, for the locomotive. The bottom one is for the cars.
These are the automatic.
Yeah.
All right. That's pretty cool. Inside the cab. You don't get to see that very often, Rob.
No?
All right. How many of these? There's only two of these in the whole New Jersey, right?
Well, there's a couple more that aren't running, but there's only two right now that are running. This is the oldest one at 1937. The other one is up on the Bell Dell in Phillipsburg. That one is a Chinese-made locomotive. That's 1989.
Oh, that don't count. That's not a locomotive.
Well, it's a copy of an American design.
You have your turret main valve that opens the manifold that's outside the engine off the top of the boiler, off a dry pipe.
That's for
This
steam.
feeds all the appliances. The outside valves are your injector feed lines for steam. Then you come to, on the right is your air pump for the compressor. On the left is the blower valve that's your draft. And then the next one is your dynamotor, which is your generator for your electric lighting in the engine.
Okay. Tough to see, but he's explaining all he can.
It is tough to see.
Yeah.
And it's too bad you got sneaks on. You could probably let them up here and take a picture or something, but
Okay.
so. And then
All right, well, I can try holding the camera up in there.
All right.
Let's see.
I'm gonna see if Rob can.
I'm just going to do a pan.
I'm assuming you're going to have to edit this anyway.
Yeah. It's already on. What you got to do is just stick it in there.
Okay, so we're looking at the cab here. I think there's about 55 different controls to do something or other in
You know
here.
what? Why don't you just bring the camera up, and when you get a second, we'll just take some pictures in here. All right? We can point and tell what each one is.
Okay.
All right.
I'll turn it off. Turn it back on.
Okay.
That's cool. Putting the lights back on there. They got to take them off every day, or else somebody will steal them. All right, I'm going to give Rob the camera because he's up in the cab right now. He's going to show you guys a couple of things that I can't go up there because I don't have hard shoes on. I got sneakers, so it's all ready to go, buddy. Just point and talk.
Don't drop it.
Point and talk, buddy.
All right, we're up inside the cab here. We got our main steam gauge showing about 195. There's long levers of throttle. We got that funky thing with all the handles at the bottom is the lubricator. That's a hydrostatic lubricator. And then we're going to put some water in it because it's going to pop off again. So we're opening the waste. And we'll put a little water in it now so it keeps from popping off. Our sight glasses. That's our fire. Coming around here to the tender. Here's the big coal pile. We're going to go through 2-3 tons of coal today. So, brake stand, engineer sits here, fireman sits there. We're going to turn the water off. And that's about the big tour. And then this is what the fireman would see. And that's Jason. Hi, Jason.
How you doing?
He's our brakeman today. And over here is what the engineer would say. So anyways, pretty cool, and that looks like more disposables. Okay, we're gonna get back to the road, King.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Yep. Thanks, Rob. You know that this garbage, when you put it over, it keeps starting to pop off.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, they're headed down the track there. They're gonna dump some ash. Let's see if I can catch up with them. Alright, tubes. I know this has been a long video, but I couldn't end it without thanking my buddy Rob for making this all possible. You know, the behind the scenes looks and everything. That's stuff the average person just isn't going to see. And there's a lot of other people that were involved, and they're all volunteers. The conductor, Don, he was more helpful than anybody. And Paul, he's another guy that does the maintenance, and he's the fireman. He loads the coal up into the firebox and stuff. And Jason, he's another one there. He helps switch all the tracks and whatever else needs to be done. You know, oiling and greasing, and I'm sure he was shoveling in the firebox too. And Jerry, he's another conductor. I guess they switch off and give each other breaks once in a while, but he was helpful. And Alexander, he was a trainman. He's one of the guys that takes the tickets and, you know, makes sure everything is fine. He stood by me the whole train trip and gave me a heads up on anything interesting coming up, and was more helpful than you could ask for. And they were all very cordial and accommodating. You know, I couldn't have asked for a better day. It was just great. And like I say, even the girl selling the tickets, you know, couldn't have been friendlier. It even says on the brochure, the friendly railroad, you know, and that's no lie. And like I say, there's all volunteers. Not one of them gets paid a single dime. And the whole railroad is run on donations. You know, so go check their website. I'm going to zoom in and show you the website. Plus, I'm going to leave a link. And on their website, they have a link to donate. So if anybody wants to donate, it's a great cause. And the thing is a money pit. I mean, it's from 1937, and the tracks need maintenance, the train needs maintenance, the buildings need maintenance, everything. You know, and they need all the donations they can get. So check out their website. It's a really good website. It has their schedules on it and pictures and you name it. It's a really good website. But like I say, go there and donate if you can. And I want to thank all them guys again. They really made it a great day for me. And it was even a few guys there I never got a chance to meet, but they were all helpful. You know, it was just a real fun day. So let me zoom in on this this website. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to shake his up. Here we go. And whoop, I think I went a little too fast. So go there. Like I said, I'm going to leave a link. Go there and check them out, and I'll probably have, this will probably be a 2 or 3 part video. I mean, that's how long it was. But definitely go check out the website and donate if you can. Alright, enough of this. I don't know if I mentioned this, but it's called the Black River Railroad. and it runs out of Ringo's, New Jersey. Right now it goes from Ringo's to Flemington, New Jersey, and they want to add, that's a 5-mile trip, 5 miles there, 5 miles back. But right now they're fixing tracks, and they want to go from Ringo's to Lambertville, which is another 5 miles. So check them out. I don't know if I mentioned also that there's only 2 steam locomotives in New Jersey, and there's this one here, which is the real McCoy, made in 1937, made in USA and stuff. And there's another one. I'm not so sure where that's at, but it's a reproduction. Chinese-made steam engines. But there's only 2 steam engines in New Jersey, and this is the only real McCoy. All right, so check them out. Thanks.